Can I take you to the Daily Record leak? Again, sticking with the interests of the complainers. How were you notified of the Daily Record story on the 23rd of August?
Well, can I go through that day in sequence? Because I think there's a bit more to it than the Daily Record story. This was, if I remember right, the 23rd of August, and I had a meeting with my legal team at Edinburgh Airport, and we were considering what to do, and basically when to lodge our petition for judicial review, because we'd had the decision from the Permanent Secretary the day before. So we're meeting how to respond and basically when to lodge a petition. We received a communication from the Scottish Government saying that they were going to make a press statement on the fact of the complaints at 5 o'clock, which we've considered remarkable then, but I consider it even more remarkable now, because I now know that they were advised against any publicity by the police in a meeting 2 days previously, at least the Crown agent was. But they were going to make a statement at 5 o'clock. Now, obviously, any hope of confidentiality in the process would have gone once that statement was made, because the idea that the press would have just said, well, there's been 2 complaints and we're not going to report anything else, would have been extraordinary to believe. So we said in return that we would launch an interdict along with the judicial review in order to prevent that statement. The government response was that they would therefore withdraw the statement. Therefore, there was no need to put forward our interdict. At 4 o'clock, or roughly, we were told by the government that they'd received a query from the Daily Record, and were concerned that the Daily Record seemed to have knowledge of the complaints. But the Daily Record didn't come to us, and therefore, if we'd gone ahead with the interdict at that stage, given that we were interdicting a government statement as opposed to the supposition that some newspaper, then we might well have provoked the very thing we were trying to avoid. However, the Daily Record came to us about 8 o'clock and emailed us at 8:15 saying that they had a substantiation of their story. The phone call came to me. I said nothing in response, apart from the fact put it in writing. They did put it in writing, and the Daily Record put the story out at 10 o'clock. That was their deadline. I released a statement saying that I was going to sue the Scottish Government, and I held a press conference the next day, but the press conference didn't talk about the nature of the complaints. It talked about the judicial review and why I thought the government were behaving unreasonably and unlawfully. What then happened the next day is there was another Daily Record story which demonstrates that the Daily Record had either a copy of or an extract from the Permanent Secretary's decision report. So someone had to have given them that document, and subsequently it's been confirmed that the Daily Record had a document, whether it was the whole report or an extract from it. The Permanent Secretary was asked about this in questioning, and she said it caused enormous distress to everyone concerned, and I'm absolutely sure it did, to the complainants, to me, to everybody. The only question I would have for the Permanent Secretary is what, notwithstanding the leak, what did she think would have happened if she'd gone ahead and put out the statement at 5 o'clock on that day? And I find it extraordinary. As you know, the ICO has investigated the matter. They came to, the Procurator came to the conclusion that she was sympathetic to the idea that the source of the leak was from within the Scottish Government, as she said. The Government's internal review, wasn't an investigation, identified 23 people who had access to the information. But the ICO weren't able, they did say that the leak, of course, was prima facie criminal. It was a criminal leak. But they had 23 suspects and no ability to go beyond that in terms of determining who might be responsible for the leak. But said they were sympathetic to the idea that came from within the Scottish Government. Whoever did that should answer for what is a very, very serious matter which caused the enormous distress and the implications that followed.